welcome to Shadowrun. What could be greater? Um, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, the rest of the sentence is what could be greater than playing a game of golf with a gator?
Oh
Um,
God, now I remember that.
Why did I not think of that? Oh no.
uh, so you all got responses from your fixers giving you instructions to meet at the clubhouse for the Taps Island golf course at noon today. You got the responses, we'll say an hour and a half early, an hour and a half before noon at around 10:30. So let me know what your character looks like, what gear they're bringing with them, and how they are getting there.
So,
You want to go first?
Kasa travels very light, and as such, I believe most things on my character sheet will just be in a messenger bag or a side bag.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't actually carry any weapons, so that's nice and easy. You
Yeah.
said this was an island, or was that just how they
The
name?
the clubhouse is not on the island, though the golf course is.
Oh, well, that'll certainly be interesting. So I would go through my fixer to call me a cab because she has not gotten to purchase a vehicle yet. Because why do I need one? Uh,
Right.
but as for a physical description, she is well albino. She speaks with a slight Sioux, if Native American accent. Um, she has recently picked up a nice pair of giant dark sunglasses that she was told was quite fashionable by the man trying to sell it to her, and dresses in like an
Well,
armor jacket and very loose clothing.
sounds good. And where's she coming from?
I'm coming from Auburn, I believe. Double check that real quick.
Okay, so what part of Auburn? Because the clubhouse is actually in Auburn. It's the Lake Taps in Auburn.
Uh, I have no idea. It's one of those things of
Okay.
uh, I didn't actually get down into the street address that she has, but
Um,
um,
General area maybe.
wherever would be a fitting of a low lifestyle in Auburn.
Okay. So the eastern side. And there's a few state parks around there that she probably likes.
That would seem appropriate.
All right. I imagine you go the long way around Federated Boeing to get to the place. So.
As she is not a super let's call it savvy person, chances are when the taxi driver tells her this is the proper way, it's going to end up with a scenic route to drive up his meter because she doesn't know any better.
All right. Mr. White.
So, Mr. White is a tall, well-built white male, speaks with a British accent because it's far easier as I do, and I can't do American accents particularly well. In terms of looks, I mean, he's going to a golf club, so obviously he will be wearing his executive suite suit with his gear. He travels very light as well. I mean, everything fits in a messenger bag, really. He will have a Colt Manhunter loaded with stick and shock, and on the bike in the bag, he will have a change of clothes and an armored jacket in case it involves going into messier places where the suit doesn't really fit.
All right.
Going on a Suzuki Mirage and coming from Touristville.
All right. And you're a human.
Yes.
I'm not going to bog us down with that right now. And, Dabbler.
So, also human, male, and brown hair, brown eyes, just that generically nondescript kind of look. Be driving a Mirage also up from near the SeaTac Mall in Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
likewise, we'll be wearing, since we're going to a country club sort of place, I'll be wearing dressy. I've got a suit, so I'll wear my suit, but I've got the motorcycle slicks to cover it, so kind of a like a nylon tearaway. So
Right.
when I get there, I won't be all bug splattered.
Okay.
And then the side bags on the bike, I'll have, if I need it, I'll have my my armor jacket. So if we actually need to step up, I don't have to go all the way back home. And
Okay.
likewise, I'll have my Cavalier Deputy in the other side bag locked with just a few other bits and pieces, my lockpick kit and a few of the other just things that I carry in my go bag. But other than that, it'll be my suit, and I won't have a weapon going into the country club itself.
All right.
I do want to add there will also be in the sidecar be my monofilament whip, which I usually keep on my arm slide, but I'll take it out before going into a country club.
Okay. Um. And Bywater.
Bywater's a very young elf, roughly 18 years old, tall, athletic build. He actually has a few man shoe with like a slight goatee, long hair that he keeps up. Um, he's showing up in his standard Mortimer of London armor to the country club. He's keeping one combat knife tucked, well, basically like tucked up underneath his vest. Yeah, he keeps one combat knife tucked up underneath his vest. He has shuriken and hidden holsters throughout his coat, his suit, wherever. So I mean, he travels very light.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing up on his growler, his Yamaha growler. Outside of that, he has very obvious cyber eyes, but outside of that, that's pretty much it.
All right. Um. Was anybody trying to get there particularly early?
I'd have left as soon as I got the message. So,
Not overly. And
Potter would have.
with the aforementioned taxi situation, probably arriving close to the meet time.
Yeah, I'm gonna allow you all to definitely get there on time if you want. I just want to know if anybody was trying to get there Shadowrunner early.
So I would do a computer search. I'm usually inclined to get there, 45 to 60 minutes before, just to see as people walk through the door. But I'm unfamiliar with the country club lifestyle. If I'm gonna be someplace where I stand out, that would be the opposite of what I would want to do. So is this a members only kind of club? Is it a public pay fee?
It is a members only type of club.
If that's the case, I'm gonna find a place near the entranceway in and go that route. I'm gonna observe as people enter the club. It's the club grounds instead of the clubhouse itself. And I'm gonna watch.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch for anything that kind of looks out of place. So in other words, fancy rich cars going in, yeah, not gonna pay too much attention to. Guy on motorcycle might stand out on my mind a little bit more.
Right.
So yeah, you spot me immediately then.
Yeah, maybe. I, as ever, aim to be there probably about 15 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, I'd be about 30, roughly.
Okay. Go ahead and give me your perception check for watching the entrance, and just make it generic because it's not just what you see; it's what you can understand about what you see.
All right. Let's see. I'm still getting used to using this. I think I've got this right. Ah, dang it. I think I forgot a space or something.
You had X instead of D.
No, that's what it was. Dang it. Hey, there we go.
All right, so you do mostly see what you would expect of the type of members only country club. There's a lot of more expensive cars pulling up, like your Bentleys or Shinyoungs. It's mostly sedans, so um, and you do see one taxi come through and a couple people on Suzuki Mirages or a Mirage and a Growler. Sorry, I forgot who.
Yeah, you're good.
The Growler was Bywater, right? So yeah, you
Yes.
see a Growler and a Mirage pulled through. You also notice because it's pretty open where the clubhouse is. You can see they have a small dock off the back where they have a ferry that takes people out to the island where the golf course is actually at.
Okay.
You don't yeah, you see one person, well, you don't know how many people are in the taxi, but you see one taxi, one Suzuki Mirage, and one Growler, and the rest are mostly luxury sedans. So those are the three things out of the ordinary.
And then the other thing I'd like to look for is there any obvious security? Like, is it gated to where you have to pull up and punch in a number, use a mic, or is it to where you can at least pull in freely? And are there cameras on the gates?
You can pull into the parking lot freely.
Okay.
You haven't spotted any cameras from your position.
Okay. All right.
So I guess you're the last person to pull into the parking lot then?
Yeah, at about the 5-minute mark or so, I would go ahead and drive up.
All right. So when each of you get there, Kasa just gets dropped off, by the entrance. For the people on motorcycles, there is a valet, or there is self parking. Whichever.
Self-parking. Find a shady spot, park it there.
All right. So actually, Bywater, as you're getting off of your bike, some people, a couple of people come out to talk to you. Two men in suits, like, excuse me, would you like us to take care of your motorcycle for you?
No, I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
Are you sure we could put it where it will be nice and safe, out of sight?
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
They sigh heavily.
Well, while they're talking to Bywater, I ride by behind them on mine, and I find a nice spot between two fancy cars and back it in.
Oh.
Sorry.
Are you really sure, sir? There will be no charge. Just please let us put your motorcycle in a safe place.
Safe or hidden?
Both?
Give me 10 credits and you got a deal.
You see his mouth move as he's whispering something, and then he sighs and rolls his eyes. He gives you 10 credits, and takes your bike.
Heck yeah.
You have to tip him the 10 credits back when you leave.
Probably will, but it was just funny for the fact of it.
10 new yen.
Yeah.
You said credits, I went with it. Anyway.
Sorry, had it.
When Kasa gets dropped off up at the front, the valet will greet you and say, "Can I help you, miss? You meeting someone here?"
She will nod. Johnson party.
Oh, oh yes, of course. Um, that's just inside the clubhouse at the restaurant. Um, please just tell them who you're here to see, and they'll show you the way.
She will nod and go in.
All right. As the men come by, you'll get the same sort of greeting, but they'll also say, "If welcome to the club. If you need to rent some clubs for your visit today, um, you can take care of that inside the clubhouse. Might I ask who you're here uh, to visit, or who you're here to play with?" Let's go with Mr. White. We'll say he gets there first.
Okay, well, I was going to use the valet to park the bike up, just so you're aware. Oh, that's very kind of you. I will, if I need the clubs, I'll pick them up at the pro shop, absolutely. But I'm here for the Johnson party.
And he, gives you the same instructions, unless either of you other two have something special. We can assume everybody gets shuffled in. I guess.
Yeah, nothing special.
All right. So everybody makes it into the restaurant. You're not in a private room, but you're in a table in the corner. It's got a pretty nice view out over the lake, and you can see there are plenty of trees in the area surrounding the lake as well. Um,
Trees,
and yes,
like
you might say it's
forest.
forested.
Remind
And
me to find out how much a membership here costs.
Um, and
and how close are we to the trees?
you're a good distance away. There's probably at least 50 meters between you and the nearest tree.
Any other time, there's no way I would put my back between me and a door, but there's also no way I'm putting my back to those trees. So if somebody's taking a spot to where I can't see the tree line out the window, I'm going to ask them to swap spots with me. You never know what's coming out of those trees.
Yeah, I guess I would just sit down and let you take it.
So after you've all arrived at the table, a man in some very nice golf attire, as nice as golf attire can be, uh, comes up to the table and says, "Oh, hello, hello. Thank you all for coming on such short notice. Uh, we've uh, we've had a problem recently with some critters that the city has been unable to get rid of for us. Oh, the city, they can never get anything done. It's all about the private sector, you know? We've tried a couple private exterminators as well, and they just can't deal with the problem. Who knew alligators would be so difficult? Um, anyway, we just need you to get rid of them. We'll pay you, what is it? 10,000 each. Yes, that sounds right.
So, in terms of infestation, how do you mean by infestation? What sort of numbers are we talking about here? How many have been seen?
Oh, there's just been a couple attacks. Nothing to make a big fuss about. Only one of them died, and he had just joined the club. It's not like one of our long-time members got injured or anything. And the other one was just a guest. So who even cares?
That must have been very comforting for you and the rest of the board members.
Yes, and our insurance covers it all too. It's very thorough. But, so we do fear, if the Gators continue.
Did anybody else drop out?
Yeah, I missed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a complete dropout there.
Same.
Oh, there he goes.
I was gonna say this. Oh my god, that voice.
It's great because most of my other characters, well, most of the characters have been like, "Oh, this asshole." Not Kasa. She's like, whatever. She
She just doesn't get it.
she's a
Hey.
shifter.
Oh yes. She really doesn't understand it then.
Yeah, no, she don't care.
That's right. Uppity where the money is.
Oh heck yeah, getting 10,000 for Gators. Heck yeah, it's awesome.
All right, I take it I'm the only one who disconnected there.
Yeah, we
Yes.
threw you out because we were offended
Yeah.
by your accent. That was fantastic.
Can you
Brilliant.
tell me where I was at when I cut
Your
out?
insurance company had covered things.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I don't need to answer that. Okay. Wow, I totally lost my train of thought there.
And Mr. White had asked for
Um,
roughly numbers.
Right. I didn't hear. Oh, so yes, he said. There have only been 2 attacks, and after the insurance part, he would say, even though our insurance does cover it, we considered just telling the players to keep the ball on the fairway, but you know how they are, and so we'd just like you to take care of the Gators. There shouldn't be more than a couple, I guess. Might just be one.
So you haven't actually seen them?
Well, I mean, not for more than a couple seconds.
Wow.
I imagine they stay in the water most of the time.
So
Is
you have
there
no
any-
idea. You have no idea where they might be nesting at, or the general area,
No,
or at least where
it's
their hunting grounds have been.
somewhere around the lake, I'm sure.
Okay.
We've both attacks did take place near the 7th green.
I'm gonna bring up from my computer search earlier. I'm assuming that it's public. If I have to make a roll, I can. But can I pull up a map?
Yes, you
A
can
layout
pull up
of the
a
course.
map of the course, and the 7th green comes up pretty close to just the edge of a lake.
Well, that's all well and good, but what I care about is how close is it to the tree line?
Oh, so the lake is like 50 to 100 meters. Sorry, from like the island across the lake is typically like 50 to 100 meters, or even longer in some places. There are some trees on the island where the course is, but as long as you stay away from holes 13 through 15, I wouldn't consider it forested.
Thank you.
Is there any footage of the attacks or of the Gators that you have recorded?
No, we don't have anything like that. If there had been footage, I assure you there wouldn't be now. We don't want that getting out.
No, of course not. But it would be useful to be able to identify exactly the type of gator that we're dealing with after all.
Type of gator, there's more than one? Oh. Well, I'm sure it's, a common Seattle gator. Or something.
Kasa will
Yes.
just shake her head like, mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right, Mr. Johnson.
You see Bywater just kind of cover his mouth, turn his eyes down.
So while he's talking, I'm gonna you do a quick search, and I threw my roll up there for just
Mhm.
recent any recent postings, news articles, stuff on Twitter, whatever, where there's been any talk or use of the word gator or gator attack or gator sighting in the greater Seattle area.
Yeah, you don't find anything.
Okay. So nobody even said like my brother got eaten when he was playing golf last weekend.
Nope.
Okay.
This doesn't seem like the kind of place that a my brother just kind of goes to go golfing.
Well, he said that there was a guest, so I was kind of opening my, to it could have been a radio contest winner. Who knows who it would have been.
Oh, when you all came in, they did ask you who you were playing with, assuming you were here to meet with a member. So members can bring guests to play at the club. But
Mm.
yeah.
Um,
So you all agreed to 10,000?
I have very little concept of what money is, so
Right. You can buy a lot of sunglasses.
not so many, given as to how much that man made me seem that they cost.
Oh.
They she got talked into the rating 3 vision enhancement flare compensation sunglasses, so
Oh.
they're like 2,000 new yens.
oh God.
So I'm gonna throw the I'm playing dumb card. So it's was it 10,000 per gator?
Well, perhaps if there are fewer gators than there are of you. No, I don't think I want to gamble on that today. It'll be 10,000 for each of you.
That's the limit of my negotiating ability, so I'm cool.
Any plus for bringing in the Gators, or is there anything that uh, you guys need other than just them disposed of?
So at this time, anybody can add in what they say, and you guys can decide who you want to lead a negotiation check.
So, yeah, would you be open to perhaps some guest memberships on top of the 10,000?
As I'm sure the Johnson's eyes trail over Kasa and her like loose fitting clothing, armored jacket, blank stare on her face.
Yeah, but some of us might actually want to be members here.
Um, he surprisingly doesn't cringe when you ask about it. So who's gonna lead a negotiation? I know none of you are actually faces.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, in terms of it from a discussion point of view, I have a mighty 3 dice for negotiation.
I have 6.
Oh my god.
Go for it, chicken dinner. You win.
Yep.
I have a mighty 5. She's aware that negotiations happen.
Oh crap! Only one. Forgot the 5. Oh, only one success. Crap.
All right. So he you go back and forth a little bit and consider some things. He says, I suppose the chef has mentioned something about alligator soup. I suppose if you could bring back an alligator or two, we might be able to give you a little bit of a bonus. Oh.
There you go. How about
Yeah.
1 month's membership for every gator we bring back?
He looks at the two at least fairly well dressed people. Sorry, I forgot what Dabbler's armor is. Yeah.
I'm wearing
Oh
a
wait.
Berwick.
Okay, and Bywater is wearing Berwick, right?
Mortimer of London.
Yeah.
Went for the
All right. So
expensive stuff.
he looks at everyone except for Kasa, and says, "I suppose we could get you some trial memberships."
I'm game.
Yeah,
That
I nod.
sounds
Agreed.
good to me.
Very well. You can. I'll have someone come and give you some passes so you can take the ferry to the course, and then you can find the gators.
Oh, fantastic. Do you perhaps have somewhere where we could change? I'm not entirely convinced all of us would prefer to go stomping through water in our current attire.
Well, make sure you don't put on anything too intimidating. I wouldn't want to frighten our guests.
Do
You
you have
can
a
use the locker room, so.
Excuse me. Do you have a maintenance staff? Perhaps we could borrow some utility coveralls or something to put over our working gear. That way we would look like we actually belong to the course. That might help you kind of mitigate any intrusions or concerns from your guests or members.
Yes, our groundskeeping staff has a small building near the ferry landing on the island.
So I'll assess everybody's size, and barring objection from anybody on the team, I'll head down to the maintenance shed and let them know that we're being hired as temporary consultants and get some of the standard coverall type clothes. If anybody wants to wear anything with a little bit more capability of taking a punch, they can cover it up and not stand out.
Yeah, I'm fine
Sounds
with
like a plan. I'm happy with that. I'm not so much worried about taking punch. I'm just not entirely sure I want to go traipsing through the lake in my best suit.
Yep, likewise. So
I will tell you guys, the gators are not likely to actually punch you. You're
No.
worried mostly about the teeth.
I believe the technical term is a death roll.
All right, so I will go down to the maintenance. If they give me any grief, I'll give him. I'm assuming I've got a comlink or whatever to get back to the Johnson so he can pass along his approval. But what I'll try to get is a pair of rubber boots for each member of the team of appropriate size, and then a pair of coveralls, likewise of appropriate size, baggy enough to allow for gear underneath.
So while we're still with the Johnson costume, like, you are someone of importance here.
Oh, you're talking to the Johnson?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just responding to your other thing. You definitely see where the door to the kitchen is. It's like, yes, of course. I'm one of the board members for the club.
She will nod. Good. And then she will get up and head towards the kitchen with the intention of, like, walking into the kitchen. Because she's going to get herself some meat.
All right. He looks a little bit puzzled, but he doesn't stop you or anything. He figures you're, doing something really important for getting rid of gators.
Bywater reclines, looks him in the eye. It's like, so is lunch on you, or we expected to pay you for ourselves?
Oh yes, of course. Well, while you're on the job, we can provide you with food. No problem. I'll send a waiter right over for you. Yes.
Bywater nods. Thanks.
Well, I'll leave you to it then. Good day and good hunting.
And the same to yourself, though perhaps good putting might be a better response.
Yes, of course.
While I'm in the maintenance area, I'm looking to see if there's anything that would be useful, kind of like any long poled type objects, like I don't know, a hoe, or anything that's got
One of those dog catcher things.
well, I think that might be overkill, but something
There are some rakes.
okay.
There are a few nets
There
as
you go.
well. The kind like you would use to get leaves out of a pool.
Okay. So I'm gonna grab a couple things like that in addition to the coveralls and the boots. I'm gonna throw it all in a wheelbarrow or a cart and just presume that I have the approval to take it and push the cart with all of the stuff back towards the clubhouse.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like go trouncing back in through the main door, but I'll like maybe one of the employee entrances or whatever off to the side and just kind of park it there, and that way folks can members of the team can take whatever they want out of the general pool of gear.
All right. Sounds good. For the people still at the table, a waitress arrives soon to take your food orders. They have high to luxury style cuisine, so get it while you can.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So
I would get, because he said it's on him. I would get literally the most expensive thing.
All right.
I wouldn't even care what it was. Bowwater wouldn't even care what it was. He would just get it.
I'm gonna rejoin the team, and as soon as I find out that food's on, I'm doing the same thing. Quick computer search. What are the, if there's any reviews posted on what the thing is that the chef is most renowned for? That's what I want.
Let's see. He has duck confit. That is really good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So you get some of that. Their most expensive thing is probably filet mignon.
Oh heck yeah. He probably Bowwater wouldn't even know what it is. He would just order it anyway.
Yeah. All right. So you have probably the best food the three of you guys have had. I don't know how Kasa's tastes are. If she's just gonna
She prefers her
some of-
meals, killed by
On
her
the-
own bare claws and fangs.
yes, on the
So-
rare side then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of thing where you chase it down in a field, club it, and scare it with a lighter.
Yeah, no, like if you didn't do it yourself, you didn't do all the work, so it's just you don't have that extra sense of accomplishment when you go to eat it.
So is it common knowledge that Kasa is a shapeshifter, or is that
There are
something that-
2, maybe 3 people on the hub that know. So no, it is she is
Okay.
definitely a in shifter, and
Okay, just making sure.
yeah, no,
So
that's fine.
when
Mr.
Kasa
White looks fairly contented at being able to order the standard of cuisine he used to be able to.
when Kasa gets into the kitchen, a chef, in the big chef hat and chef coat, will turn to her and say, "Pardon me, miss. What can I do for you? What are you doing in the kitchen?"
She's gonna do that confused thing where you point back over your shoulder. Johnson said I could come in here. I require meat.
Ah, but of course, for the alligators, you bring me back some of them. We make you some good soup. What kind of meat would you like? What do the alligators prefer?
Do you want me to roll another thing, or my 3 hits earlier give me an idea?
Your 3 hits are good enough. You think they'd probably like venison the most?
Yeah, so she'll just begin to list off a couple of different, not by like what they are called, not like steak, but like deer, cow, chicken.
Rotten meat or fish?
So as you name the animals instead of the what they call the meat, he
He probably
looks a little
winces.
confused just for a second, and yeah, winces a little bit. And he's like, yes, we have some of that for you.
The idea of
Let me get the
feeding
bag.
like a couple $100 worth of like filet mignon to gators is hilarious to me.
Oh, he's not giving you the fillet cuts.
Oh, I'm sure, but the idea just popped in my head as that would be hilarious. Like, oh, you're had she not gotten up to go to the kitchen, she would have sat down and ordered like 7 or 8 of things that had meat in them, eaten like just a couple of pieces of meat out of them, and left everything else on the plate.
But he goes back into a walk-in cooler and comes out with a large opaque plastic bag full of different cuts of meat. And from TV, you would say it's the appropriate size to feed to a dog to make it stop going after you. You know,
Yeah, the important thing is that it smells like meat and has blood scent like meat, and
yeah. Yes, it does.
that it can be bait. And she will give him a thanks and go back over to the table and kind of slump it down in the middle of it. Like, meat.
Yeah. Now the real
Bowder
question is,
glances at it,
how
looks
long
up
will
at
it
you.
be before she gets peckish herself and decides to eat it?
That's what I was about to say. He'd glance at it, look up at her. You don't just expect us to eat that, do you?
Does Kasa look Asian? Is that what I heard you say?
So when I was looking for character photos, I Googled albino woman, and this was
Okay.
the first one that showed up in the Google images search that was not
Gotcha.
creepy.
Okay.
And I apologize to all of those people out there that have a genetic disorder that they have no control over, but the ones that showed up at the top of the Google images search was like, oh, okay.
Not what you were looking for.
So I heard the
They
picture
can
maybe
be
looks a
creepy.
little Russian, maybe looks a little Asian to me. I don't really, I'm not really good with that.
It's
So,
fine. Or just her language skills seem to be a little broken and abrupt. So I didn't know if I was trying to figure out if English was her native language through
it's got to
obvious
be.
appearance or not.
If you are familiar with any of the Amerindian things, there's probably a bit of that accent
Gotcha.
going on.
Okay.
Out of character, her language comes from being a cougar. You don't exactly have a lot of social conversations when you're a 300-pound mountain cat.
Gotcha.
Yep. Right. Well, I guess over our meal, we ought to at least put some basic plan together as to how we want to approach this. I mean, obviously, Kasa has got us some meat that maybe we could use to attract them.
Quick question. What? I know we didn't ask this. Like, how long do we have to get these gators? Like, does it need to be done today? Do we have a day or two?
He wasn't really specific, but you got the idea. He wants you to take care of it quickly.
Okay.
Pretentious rich man wanting things done immediately? Never.
I mean, we have bait, so I really don't feel like fighting these things underwater. So best bet would be to at least drag them close and then snare them somehow. Whether if that's using rope or what.
I don't think we necessarily need to snare them. If the chef wants to make soup from them, he's not going to mind if the bodies aren't breathing anymore.
I'm just meaning get them out of the water with a snare. Pull them out by their
Uh,
ankles.
So one of the things that I wanted to make sure if I got some rope or string so we can and I tell everybody what I reached out, went and got from the maintenance shed. So I got a couple of things that we've got some reach with, and we can pull, we can bait them with the meat certainly, and then use it to lure them up out of the water. And then I also got us some rubber boots so that if we do have to get down into the wet, you're not going to like ruin everything and lose your traction, destroy your foot gear. And then I'm also letting everybody know that while we were sitting here, I pulled down some Gator sounds so that I can tune my audio filter, so that we can kind of hear the sounds that they're making while we're out there. If anybody's got any other ideas, I'd be glad to.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, like that.
So I'm looking through my gear, thinking what all we could do.
Kasa, in the exchange of information, will bring out the idea that they usually don't come into this cold of weather. So many nefarious things going on.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
But it's nefarious.
Yes. That's so. Yeah, I'm not a naturalist. I don't really know that much about gators, but yeah, I heard they're cold-blooded, so this doesn't really seem like the best place in the world for them to come.
And the fact that they don't have eyewitness reports of exactly what was seen, I'm using Gator as variable for could be anything big and able to eat a person.
Yeah.
So more like quotation marks gator than actual expecting an alligator type deal. Whether it could be awakened or what.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know what is
trying to think.
kind of a shame?
You know, if we can get out and I can find some tracks that don't seem to fit in, we can probably follow those as well.
Info dump.
Yeah.
With my various animal-related knowledge skills, is there anything that I have an idea that is not a gator but might fit with the ideas that they are describing?
You don't actually. So there aren't any like amphibious predators native to the Seattle area. Gators and crocodiles prefer more temperate climates. There's no large snakes or anything. There's yeah, it just seems really out of place that there would be any sort of predator in this area that would be attacking out of the water onto land. You're familiar with all of the predators in the forest, obviously, but you don't think there's anything that should be here that would be attacking like this on an island more than anything else. It just seems really, really strange.
Did somebody say forest?
Yeah, I was going to say, does Kasa share this to us?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to finish. She will, with an air of confidence of talking about things that she knows about, that is usually not something she does. She'll kind of info drop this on you and come just like someone might have put them there intentionally, and she'll look around the table because we are all criminal people that do criminal things for money, and putting gators someplace they're not supposed to be to murder rich and famous is a plausible thing.
Yeah.
There is another option that we haven't even discussed yet. And that's that it's not any form of creature, but actually some
person,
spirit or a person, maybe a gator shaman.
Didn't even think about that.
Who maybe has some sort of issue with the golf course taking his territory and is using that as an excuse to attack the people on it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. In the Googling earlier, did you find out how long this place was in existence?
Well, that's what I was going to say. So I didn't actually do a computer roll on much on the background. It was more about just the surface stuff. So that's I was already typing, doing a roll for a more intensive research. So give me 1 second. I'll throw the die roll up there for doing a more in-depth search on how long the club's been around, not just its website, but if there were any articles in any of the news feeds about this site having been something before. Was it, Native American burial grounds, any of that kind of stuff? And I'm going to go ahead and use a point of edge on the search. I think I've
Well,
got that.
before you do that,
Oh, go ahead.
let me remind you of the matrix search rules. So it's all based on the threshold that you're trying to find. So the threshold that you really have time to search for during lunch is only a threshold of 3. If you want to go for a higher threshold, and that'll give you like limited interest or not really publicized knowledge. If you want to go for stuff that is actually being hidden or actively erased from the matrix, it's threshold 6, and the base time is 12 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think any of you are actual deckers, so you can't cut that down at all. So yeah, you're just looking for a threshold of 3. Feel free to use the edge if you want to.
I
just
don't think it'll be necessary.
We could go ask.
Yeah, but that's no good.
That seems very direct and might also solve the problem.
I'm inherently untrusting of other people. Why would they tell us the truth?
And trees.
Oh, don't even talk.
Yeah, after realizing that, do we see it like just like a really old person here?
I mean,
like
you've
60s
seen
plus.
Yeah, you've seen a few really old people.
Okay, I want to find. I was going to ask. I want to go find the oldest looking person as possible and go ask them like, "Hey, how long has this place been here?"
Just the oldest person in the dining room.
Yes.
Okay. So you have your badge, right? That
Badge?
identifies you as a. They brought them to you to
Oh,
identify
yeah.
you as
Yes.
staff members.
Oh yeah, I'd be displaying that loud and proud.
Roll me an edge check, actually. Let's see.
Edge.
Yes. See how, if you happen to find an old cantankerous person or, someone who's amiable. So you find someone middle of the road, and they look you over, and they're like, so you want to learn about the history of your new employers? Well, this club's been around for over 100 years. I believe it was back in the 1920s or something. My family's been members since the very beginning. All rich people sound like this.
Glad I'm the only one that was thinking that.
The voice modulator comes with the membership.
Then I would ask, like, do we know like where this land came from originally, or was it just kind of something a family owned, or what?
Where the land came from?
Yeah, like who
Oh,
like,
she.
or, like where did they actually get the land for all of this? Like who they buy it from or get it from?
Let's see. Do they know history? Well, I don't know. Somebody bought it at some point. If you go back far enough, the natives owned everything around here.
I'd thank him for his time and then proceed on. And then I would share that with the group. Like, apparently this used to be owned to natives. It's just been 100+ years.
I should mention, so that was the oldest looking person in the dining room. The oldest looking person anybody has seen. Who was it that went to get the uniforms again?
Me.
Who's me? Sorry, I'm really
Dabbler.
bad with
No,
voices.
that's fine.
Dabbler?
Dabbler. Yeah.
Okay. So you saw when you were off getting the uniforms, you saw a really, really old person in a groundskeeper uniform that he had his name badge said head groundskeeper.
And
Um,
so that's one of the things I was going to say at the table is, if we really want to kind of get the lowdown on things, members aren't going to be the ones to ask. It's going to be the guys that are behind the scenes, the ones that are out back outside the kitchen smoking, the ones that are down by the maintenance shed sharpening tools. Those are the guys that are going to have the real nitty gritty on what's happening around here. So if we want to talk to somebody who's got a theory on it, that's exactly where I was pointing us, was back towards the groundskeeper. And to your point, I found there's a guy that looks like he'd been here for quite a while. I'd also like to. I've got a contact that may have some information, so I want to make a phone call real quick too.
okay.
But if somebody wants to go down, I'm not much of an interrogator or whatever. So if somebody else is better at that, wants to go talk to the head groundskeeper, I think that'd be a good idea.
I would do it.
In the meantime, I've got a news reporter contact that I want to try to see if he's got if he's got any information or heard anything about it through the grapevine, or if he's got contacts at the coroner's office. Because if there were two beast-eaten bodies from a country club, I would think that they probably went through some kind of official channel and ended up with a coroner's report. And I'd like to try to see if we can't maybe get a hold of that documentation if it's not going to be something too expensive or too hard to track down.
All right. Go ahead and roll the connection test for your contact. Connection ×2 plus loyalty.
All right. So connection ×2 plus loyalty would be 7.
And then as he's doing that, I would go and try to track down this guy. Like, I would probably go ask someone who actually looks like a groundskeeper, like, hey, who is this? I was looking for this old guy who's a groundskeeper. Looks like he's been here forever. Do you know where to find him? Where normally he's at?
I'll tell you where. Oh, that wasn't good. I'll describe how I got to the maintenance shed and get you back down the same path.
Yeah. Well, and then from there, like if he's not there, I would be asking around, like, hey, where's this dude at?
All right. So one thing at a time. The reporter says they haven't heard anything about any alligator attacks. Seems pretty strange. I feel like I would have heard about it if there'd been an alligator attack. Are there even alligators in Seattle? I thought that was more of a New York thing.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So I'll make you a deal. Whatever the outcome of this thing is, if it looks like it's interesting to you, I'll make sure you get some deets.
Yeah. Red Feather, the coyote. What were you asking him?
So they're all Amerindian/Nan type people that she knows.
Mm-hmm.
There was the mention of whether or not this was, ancient gator burial ground or something along those lines.
Right.
So it is more or less just a, you know anything?
Are they all Sioux? I know Red Feather is.
Red Feather is. The other two probably also are. The crosses all lines worked with the tribe that she associated with before coming to Seattle.
Okay.
and the fixer is like a cousin of somebody in that tribe, so
Okay.
they're probably all Sioux.
So, all since you got a crap load of hits on the last one, they will be helpful. The other two just tell you, um, that land was never belonged to us or our ancestors. That was Salish land. Um, the last person will tell you a bit about like the importance of like the water in the Salish tradition. Um, and he's sure that they probably did have some shrines, but he can't recall the lake being anything of great importance spiritually to the Salish. No more than any other body of water.
Sure, and she will pass along the information that this may have held some importance for the Salish at some time, but rare. And if you're going up to actually get out onto the greens, she'll totally go with you.
So before you guys actually go out onto the greens, um, uh, who was um, who was going to look for the groundskeeper?
Bywater.
Can you give me a perception check?
Vision or what?
Generic.
Oh god.
Oh, that's a glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do nothing with that. You don't see anything in particular, but when you get to the maintenance shack, you do find a really old looking guy with a badge that says head groundskeeper who seems to be working on a golf cart.
Okay. Would you mind if I ask you a couple of questions about the history of this place?
He groans as he stands up straight and then turns to look at you. He says, "Ah, sure, Sonny. What can I do for you?"
Do you know how long this place has been here?
Nah, the club opened up 150 years ago. Yeah, our anniversary is in just a couple months.
Must be proud of that.
Yeah, I've worked here for 50 years.
Wow. Um. No, I've been hired to hunt down something that's been apparently causing a ruckus around here. I was wondering if you had any idea of what that could be. It's supposed to be over by what was it, the 13th green, 7th green?
7.
Ah, the seventh green. Yeah, lost somebody over there the other day, and another person almost lost their leg. I think they may have had to lose the foot in the end. But
Did you hear any stories about it or anything?
people say it's gators, but there's never been any gators around this lake. The biggest thing we get is appropriate freshwater fish.
Could there? Do you know of anybody who may be mad around here, or if you've seen somebody just kind of skulking around that's abnormal?
Well, well, come to think of it, I have actually seen something late at night. I've seen people taking boats out into the center of the lake and they're dumping something. I think it might be one of them crime families, maybe the Yakuza. I think they might be dumping bodies in the lake. Maybe they were gators this whole time, but the bodies had just riled them up.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, sir.
No problem, Sonny. And if you need me to show you around, and he points to your badge, uh, just let me know. I'm always happy to show around our new hires.
Well, I stick out my hand to shake it, assuming he does.
Shakes your hand.
Smile at him.
His grip is weak and frail.
Just smile at him. Say thanks again for the information. Pleasure talking to you. And turn and walk away. Go and share the information with the team as well.
No problem, Sonny. Sorry, I think my internet connection
No, you're still here.
just well, it didn't go out completely, but somebody was saying something and breaking up.
Yeah, it was probably me.
Okay.
I just said I'd go back. I'd go back to the team, share everything that he had told me, especially about. Looks like people were dumping something out in the lake.
All right.
It could be something to ask the Johnson.
Yeah, I really don't think that Johnson's going to sit there and admit to us that he's letting crime families use the lake as a dumping ground at this point.
I don't think it's so much a dumping ground as potentially someone or something dumping waste, because we said it could be a spirit.
It could be. I mean, I think if you're dumping bodies into a spirit habitat, they might not be too happy.
Well, I mean, it may not even be. It may not even be bodies. I mean, it could be anything from oil to
Oh yeah,
scrap to whatever.
yeah. But in terms of it, I think, rather than trying to go and rile up the Johnsons some more, I think we'd be better off actually going out and seeing what we can actually see. See what the environment actually has to tell us. And if necessary, we need to go swimming to find out what it is, then that's what we do. I'm sure they must have some dive kit, because I'm sure people go and retrieve an awful lot of golf balls to sell back to all the people that have knocked them into the lakes. It's always a good money-making scam.
I hadn't thought about that.
So I'd tell the team that I was able to secure a couple of nets while I was down at the maintenance shed last time around, so we can take all that stuff. I'm also gonna try to secure us some golf carts once we get over on the island, so we're not having to walk the whole way.
Well, I thought they'd let me take my motorcycle over there.
Yo,
Let
imagine
you.
what you would do to your greens.
You wait till someone lets you take your bike where you want it to go.
Well, it is a ferry ride, so unless you
Right,
are
I'm
really
not
are
driving
evil
across the
Knievel,
water.
you're probably not going to make that jump.
I want to know what
if you're
how
going
much-
fast enough, you can try it. I'm not going to stop you from trying that.
No,
I
we're
want-
good.
I'm trying to figure out how much they pay the ferries to let you ride their back across the waterway.
Yeah, it must take an awful lot of them to carry humans across.
Oh, fun.
Oh, everyone you've seen here is totally a human. Also, if anyone was wondering.
Except for the ones that we brought.
Well,
I don't know what you're
we've
talking
got-
about. Totally a human.
Everyone's
Alright.
a human apart from one elf.
Man,
Has that been true of the crew also, like the staff that we've seen? So,
Yes.
like the maintenance staff, the kitchen staff, everybody's been human?
Yes, everybody has been human.
Okay. Right,
I guess you guys are just your next step is to head out to the island with the golf course, acquire a golf cart, and do things.
yeah.
Gear up.
Pretty
for-
much, yeah. Gonna obviously get changed into the dress down gear rather than go stomping around in my suit. But other than that, yeah.
All right. So you guys all get changed and get on the ferry and get your ride across. And then we've been playing for a bit over an hour, so let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. And we'll. But right before we go on break, everybody roll perception checks, and I'll tell you what they're for when we get back.
Visual or
Generic.
Is this enough
Or
to count for my
tactile, if you
my
have
outdoorsman?
them. Sure.
Hooray!
I never do good on perception checks ever. I'm the worst.
Also, I think somebody needs to start taking -1s. Bywater. You're the fresh air and smell of flowers and such is starting to irritate you.
Yeah,
Springtime, the
I
best
was
time.
wondering. I was wondering if you'd remember that.
Yeah. You're gonna start
Whenever we
taking
actually start,
whatever the
whenever we
mild
actually,
allergy penalty is. So you guys got
Yes.
some perception checks. I'll tell you what that's about when we get back.
okay.
Sounds good to me.